What's good, everyone on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod back with another video, and today I'm live streaming again. So if you as you guys are coming in, drop something in the chat. Let me know that you guys are here. But trying to switch up some things on the channel now. So I'm gonna start doing some sharing some interesting stories, sharing some interesting experiences, stuff that I think that you guys can still benefit from, can still learn from. But I'm definitely gonna start interviewing other people again, like I was doing a couple years ago. Entrepreneurs, people that's into business, people that's into resellers that do it into reselling, people that share similar interests as myself. And I'm also trying to like get into some new hobbies as well. So I'm probably gonna start introducing some of that slowly but surely onto the channel as well. I'll probably slowly trickle it in as I kind of develop my own thing, but just kind of bear with me because I know that you guys are used to seeing, eBay Poshmark related content. And I recently talked about wanting to pay off my student loans early. Well, not early, but just paying it off in full within a full year, and switched up the game plan a little bit when it came to that. So I figured this would be somewhat of an interesting story, and kind of just go live with it as well, just so that we can kind of go back and forth in case you guys are in the chat. So we got Derek in here. What's going on, bro? How you feeling? Hope all is well with you. But yeah, so like I said, we got a couple people in here, so I'm gonna just jump right into the story. So as I told you guys a few months ago, this is the idea started in August of 2020, 2021, I should say. And I told myself I was going to pay off my student loan debt in a full calendar year. I gave myself, um, I kept pushing it off because I always wanted to pay off my student loans, but I just kept pushing it off for whatever reason. As you guys know, I purchased a house last year as well. So, well, 2 years ago at this point. So I kept putting it onto the back burner, but now that we're in the home and we have a decent amount of things set up, I decided let me just go ahead and just make the sacrifice, pay off my student loans, right? So I thought of a bunch of different ways to do it. I figured I should probably try to rev up the reselling, or probably pick up a part-time gig, or maybe pick up a different side hustle. Just a bunch of different things I was thinking of doing to pay off these student loans. So the thing what I ended up doing, ended up getting a job. And as you guys know, I've been reselling full time, solely just grinding, hustling it'll be 5 years in February. So I know a lot of people out there that resell, or some guys out there that may be considering reselling. Some people that want to be an entrepreneur, or some people that's even just getting into, like, considering becoming an entrepreneur. I know a lot of people. The fear is that one day they may never be employable again, or would they make a good employee? Long story short, I don't think I'll be a good employee. Not yet. Maybe later on in life, maybe if it was a different position, different situation, possibly. But as of right now, clearly just didn't make a good employee. So let me give you guys some of the backstory, because I'm gonna try to lay it out so you guys can kind of catch on to everything I'm trying to talk about now. So I just to backtrack a little bit, when I decided to actually start to pay off the student loans, the first thing I said, I'm most likely gonna have to get an extra source of income. So I was thinking to myself, let me dust off my resume, let me look at my cover letters and all those types of stuff, and see what I can do just to possibly, get myself ready for some type of employment. Because I was thinking, since so many people are quitting their jobs, it'll be super, super easy for me to get a job, considering the fact that I have experience, I have the education. I was like, let me jump back in there and try to grab something up, something easy, right? That's what I was thinking to myself. So grabbed grabbed my resume, jumped on LinkedIn, started tweaking my LinkedIn profile, making it a little more professional, and just talking about other things, because I think my LinkedIn profile, I didn't touch it in like 2 or 3 years. So it was definitely kind of just kind of boring, kind of plain. But I know current employers are looking at LinkedIn and stuff like that. So worked on my LinkedIn for a couple of days, tried to get it up to par, worked on my resume for a couple of weeks, did some research on a bunch of different things in terms of higher education, because that's where my previous experience is. That's what my degree is in. So I'm like, this is most likely going to be the easiest place for me to get a decent job. So came up on this one job, and it was a remote. Um, I forgot the title, the exact title, but it was like a counselor position. It was like a remote counselor position. And of course, you guys know I just had a daughter. She's only 4 months. So for me, I'm thinking working from home would be ideal because I'm still going to be able to, be with the baby and just, continue our bond and continue doing my thing and, make some money on the side with this job. And of course, continue eBay and YouTube and all of those things. That was my game plan. I just figured it was going to roll smoothly because I'm working from home. So I get the job. It took me about 3 weeks in total to get the job from the time I decided to start filling out applications to the time that I got the job accepted. The whole thing took 3 weeks. And the funny thing is, when I got the job, I was like, damn, this was kind of easy. Like, I don't know if this is a good thing because usually, like I said, anything that comes a little too easily, it's usually a red flag for me. I'm usually like a grinder and I take a lot of things that come for me. It usually takes a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. So the fact that I got that job so easily was like an instant red flag, right? So I got the job and they told me it was going to be a 3 week training. And instantly I'm like, damn, 3 weeks. Like, this is a counseling position. Like, you're talking to students, you're helping students. Like, 3 weeks is a long time to be training, right? So it is what it is. I didn't stress it too much. The only thing that I was nervous about was with it being 3 weeks in person, having to travel back and forth and being in traffic. It's not my thing. Haven't done it in a while, so I wasn't looking forward to it. But after the first day, I've learned that the in-person training was only 1 week, and then it was going to be 2 weeks virtual training. So I'm like, all right, cool, I could do this. It's even better. I'm kind of going to get that experience of what it's going to be like working from home, having the baby and everything like that. So I'm here for it. Keep in mind, it's still fresh, it's still new. So I'm kind of trying to be optimistic here. So first week goes by, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling good about it. It's a good experience. The training was kind of boring, um, kind of repetitive in certain areas, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm coming from ton of experience going into an entry level position. So of course it's going to be kind of repetitive for me. So in that second week, keep in mind, and I'm not going to go there yet. So in that second week, the the virtual part of the training's not going bad. It's going all right, but I'm realizing that uh it's very hands-on. Like, it's nothing like I thought it would be. I thought I was going to be able to do my own thing, uh kind of list while I'm working, kind of take pictures and do stuff like that while I'm working. Long story short, when it came to that part of things, the trainer let me know very, very early, this is going to be a very intensive type of position. Most people at work there don't usually forget, like some people forget to take their lunch break. So when I heard that, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be something serious. It's going to be intense. So first week was kind of rough for me, but at the same time, I just kept telling myself, let me just see it through. 3 week training, let me see it through. Next week, um, next week, Monday, we go through the training. We go through like a typical day of what it's going to be like, and it's exactly like I said, super intensive, super like hands-on. You gotta and keep in mind we're on Zoom, so I gotta keep my screen on. They're watching us as we're working, so I'm just like, bro, this is no freedom. I'm like, what is going on here? This is nothing like what I expected. So sad to say, the very next day, I lasted all of 2 weeks and 2 days because the very next day I told myself, you know what? I'm playing myself here. This is not what I expected it to be. And I ended up quitting that job. So, in the last 5 years, I got employed for a new position and quit in all of 2 weeks and 2 days. So the main deciding factor, not only was it super intensive, but the big thing that was so super eye-opening for me was the fact that once I got that first check, I was blown away. Blown away. When I tell you that first check was like $737 for 40 hours, it was ridiculous, ridiculous. I got some people in the house. Let me see what's going on with y'all. Shout out Deb, Happy New Year. I hope everyone is doing good. Happy New Year, Miss V. Thrifty Texas, happy new year to you as well, brother. I haven't seen you in a minute, so it's good to see you. So, like I said, in all of 2 weeks, I last 2 weeks and 2 days, and I had to let it go. So once I got that first check was $737. And when you start a job, like the pay period, I kind of started in the middle of a pay period. So usually a check is 80 hours. The first check was 737. The job, I believe, was paying like $21 an hour. Like I said, it was entry level. It was an entry level position. And I think the overall pay was like 43,000 a year. That was like the salary, but like and they break it down in terms of your base, it was like $21 and some change, which you would earn an hour. So in my mind, I'm like, this isn't a lot of money at all. So this should be a very easy, simple job. Easy breezy. I should still be able to do eBay. I know a lot of people do eBay part-time and they're crushing it. So I'm like, I should be able to do that too. Every day after that job, I was burnt out. I was super tired because it was just, the monotonous like conversations and the usual little conversations that people have at work, like the water cooler conversations, all those types of stuff. I don't have that in me. I'm not really good at the small talk. And they were there talking about Disney movies and all type of random stuff that I had no interest in, and I felt drained at the end of the day. And it gave me so much appreciation for what I've been able to do over these past 5 years. Because I honestly, guys, I've been taking it for granted. I had to tell my wife I've been honestly taking this for granted, and I think that's why I wanted to kind of jump on here, hop on live, kind of share the story with you guys, because what we do in the sense of going to garage sales, going to thrift stores, just maybe going to discount stores and basically just buying stuff for the low, selling it high online. It's a very fortunate situation to be in, because I've like I said, I've been doing this for a while, and it's really just the last 2 years where things have kind of started to coast for me, and it's been super easy. I kind of figured everything out. I'm not gonna say I mastered it, but I'm super comfortable with eBay and Poshmark and just e-commerce in general. Like I'm super comfortable in it to that extent. So going back to a job where you have a supervisor and it's like these rules and these restrictions, it literally just it gave me so much more appreciation for what I've been doing. And I think I needed that, because for a while I've been telling you guys, I don't know how long I'm gonna be reselling. I want to jump into something else. And to a certain degree, that still is true. I think I will continue to look at opportunities, because if I was to get a good opportunity that made sense and paid way more than that $43,000, I figured I might as well go ahead and I'd still go ahead and take advantage of a good opportunity. But that opportunity in particular just did not work. And it just opened my eyes to what it's like for everyone else, like the average person that just goes to work every single day, and they watch a YouTube video and they see somebody reselling and they say, oh, I could do that, or and they jump into it and they hate their job so much but they want to start something else. It just gave me that experience all over again, and kind of gave me that eye-opening insight, because I forgot what it felt like to work a 9 to 5, be in traffic for an hour, and then come home, and then your day is done. Before you know it, your whole week, the only thing you can do is work for the weekends and work on the weekends. And it's like, it's crazy experience. So to everyone that's out there working jobs and doing eBay on the side, shout out to you, salute to you, because I know it's a grind, and it's something that I failed at. I know I couldn't do it. I lasted 2 weeks and 2 days. Maybe if I got a better opportunity and it paid more and I wouldn't have to resell on the side as well, I might be a better employee. But for $43,000 a year, boy, could not do it. Could not do it. Let me see. I'm with you, bro. It's so hard to work for someone else after you've worked for yourself. It's a fact. That's a fact. It's one of those things where it's like you become so efficient in your own things that you got going on. You become efficient in, like, just working for yourself. And at the end of the day, why people want to work for themselves so badly, it's not always because of the money. It's the freedom. That's what everyone wants. Everyone wants the freedom to say, I want to sleep in late, or I'm gonna stay up late and do whatever it is that I want to do and not have to wake up at 6 to get to the work at 7 or 8 o'clock or whatever it is. And since I've been doing this for so long, and keep in mind, I've moved around a lot. So it's like I've done this in Arizona, I've done this in California, did a little bit of it in New York as well. So it's like I've been in different places where the hustle and the bustle is necessary. But I just think at this stage, especially that I have a daughter, it just doesn't make sense for me to do something like that, especially for that. And I hate to say it, but that little bit of money. You know what I mean? When I first started working in higher ed, my starting pay, I was 23. No, I was 22. And I believe it was $42,000 a year. And I thought I was rich. I was like, boy, I'm balling. I called my mom. I said, Ma, quit you, retire. I got us. I'm gonna pay the bills at home. Don't worry about it. And that was with $42,000 a year. And the thing is, when I got that first check for $737, you guys know I'm not a bragging type of person, but I've shared my sales in the past. I share my sales pretty often with you guys. I've done 800, 900, $1,200 in a day before from in sales. So to work 40 hours, 40 real hours of driving back and forth in traffic, sitting in trainings and all of that for $700, I was like, the fact that so much people live this life and have that experience and do this on a daily basis, it just gave me such a more appreciation for what it is that I'm doing. And it also let me realize that um the whole grind, the drive to pay off my student loans in a year, kind of fell off a little bit. Kind of fell off a little bit. Like I'm not as gung ho about paying it off in a year. I'm probably still going to do that because of course, as long as I'm still, doing what I got to do, the money will come in and I should have enough to pay it off. But thankfully, they just pushed it back again. So they pushed it back to, I think, May. So it's going to give me some more time to kind of tackle the debt while it's interest free. So I'm going to take advantage of that time. But I think once May comes around, I already paid off about $9,000 of my student loan debt. My total debt was 32,000. So I'm on par to knock it out, by the end of the year if I keep it up. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Don't hate on the Disney movies, bro. Yeah, don't hate, don't hate. I love Disney movies. My favorite movie is Aladdin, but I didn't want to talk about that at work. I didn't want to talk about that on Zoom while my daughter's in the other room and she's like fussy and like she needs me. I didn't want to do that. Like, who cares about Disney? Um, let's see. Work was really stressful. Once I became a part-time reseller, work seems chill and I don't stress as much. And I think that's a big thing. For some people, we kind of need those things to kind of balance it out, right? And I think that's what I'm looking for, because reselling can be stressful as well. And I think that was something that was kind of tugging at me and made me want to pursue something different. So I think I'm still gonna need something else on the side. Like, I'm gonna have to put in way more time and way more energy into the wine business that my wife and I started to kind of scratch that itch and kind of give me help me use that other part of my brain, because with reselling it's kind of on autopilot right now. So everything is kind of automated and I kind of know what I'm looking for when I'm sourcing. When I come home and list, I literally turn these lights on and I'm good to go. I use my phone, take the pictures, and it's automated. I'm like a robot at that. But I think I'm going to start spending way more time on the other businesses that I have in order to kind of get that just kind of scratch that itch, because once you have other things going on, working a traditional job does make it less stressful. Let's see. Yes, I'm so fortunate and thankful to God for reselling. Amen. Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. It gave me a whole different appreciation. Let's see. I tried it. I worked at the thrift store. Free inventory was cool, but I missed my freedom. And that's the biggest part. Like I said, it's the freedom. It's the freedom it's the freedom of your time. It's the freedom of what you want to do just with your day. Um, and the biggest thing that I realized is that while I was working that job, I forgot how it is for most people. Most people only have time on the weekend. That's why so much people, either party super hard Friday and Saturday night, and then Sundays it's dreadful, or like Sunday's more like a relaxing day, but then Sunday night it becomes kind of like, anxiety ridden, because that's how it was for me. But yeah, man, it's just that freedom. It's just that freedom that people are looking for and that people want. And like I said earlier, I figured it was going to be a easier thing for me to get into, because of my experience, and because so much people are quitting their job. I figured it should be easy for me to just grab um a, a entry level position, and just, I expected it to be easy because it's entry level, but I forgot how the game works. When you're an entry level employee, they make you do a million and one things and wear a million hats, and that's how you gain your experience. And you do that for 2 3 years, and then you kind of move up to being a manager or something like that. And that's honestly when the work becomes easier. And my last position was, in management, and that's when it was a little easier compared to when I was grinding in an entry level position. Keep in mind, I was entry level. I was 23. I didn't have a daughter. I wasn't married, so it didn't seem that I was working as hard as I was. But looking back in retrospect, when I was working entry level jobs, I worked way harder then than I did when I was in management. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something to consider out there. Let's see. I'm a traveling ER nurse. I've been reselling for going on 3 years part time. Over the summer, I took a break and started selling full time. Well, congrats to you, because once you take that leap and you realize that you're able to do it, you realize it's not that hard, and you realize you still have, like I've been saying, you still have that freedom to do with what you want to do with your time. And the only real luxury, this is a bar that I write any chance I get. The only real luxury is time. And I only started to realize that as I started to get older, as I started to, want to do other things with my time just outside of working. You realize, like, yo, the only luxury we have is time, because that's the only thing we can't get back. Like, I could lose a few $1,000s on a bad idea, but I can always get that back. It's your time that you can't get back. And that's something that a lot of these jobs, so what it's hurting us. It's hurting people out here. Granted, I made less money, but being the owner of your own time is priceless. Amen to that. And at first, it might be a little lower. At first, the money that you make might be less. My first year making money, I think my first time working for myself, I think I made less. It was like 20 on my taxes. It was like 27,000, 24,000. And I know most of the time, we try to write stuff off, but I didn't make that much money, but I felt great. And because I felt great that first year making money for myself, I kept going and kept going and kept pushing. Let's see. At least you tried it. Not for you. Exactly. That was the big thing, because I wanted to try something. I've been telling my wife for a while, I want to try something else. I want to, do something that can kind of inspire me in a different way, or just do something different outside of reselling, because I've been doing it for a while. And for me, every 5 to 6 years, I always switch stuff up. Always. And it's just like the pattern of how things has been in my life. And I realized, okay, it's 5 years next month. you know, And I just got that itch of like wanting to do something else. And I tried it. I figured it would be a great idea. I remember telling one of my homies, I said, I'm gonna when I pay off my student loans, then I'm gonna tell people that I picked up a full time job, and I was working full time and eBay, and I was doing this and doing that, and I was just gonna shock everybody. It didn't play out like that at all. Excuse me. I'm more so shocked myself that I quit so fast. But like I tell you guys all the time, I realized it wasn't right for me, and I was wasting my time. So I realized, before I just kind of drag it out and wait it out, let me just go ahead and take my L and cut it loose. Cut it loose. Let's see. Thanks for sharing this, bro. This is making me more grateful for my business and the opportunities I have in reselling. I'm glad. I'm glad this story is helping, because I was kind of on the fence at first. I was kind of on the fence of if I should share this story or not, if I should talk about this. Is this relevant? But I was like, yo, the fact that I went through this, I know I'm not the only one. And the other big thing too, like I was saying when I first started the live, I just want to start opening up a little more on this channel and just kind of sharing different sides of myself outside of just the reselling stuff. And that's why I wanted to introduce the student loans thing, because that was something that was on my mind, on my heart, kind of heavy for a while. And I was like, let me introduce that thing. Let me share that journey. I'm not gonna say that journey is closed, that book is closed. It's definitely not, because like I said, we have until May before interest kicks in. And for all we know, they might push it back again. They might push it back to December once April comes around. So if that happens, that'll be even better. But I think I'm gonna just reevaluate what I'm gonna do moving forward, because I was telling one of my friends this the other day, and literally speaking to my wife about this earlier. For the past, I've been with my wife. We've been married for one, and we've 2019 married two, yeah, two, and we've been together for 7 years now. You know what I mean? It's been a long time since we've been together. But since me and Dom been together, I've been grinding, like nonstop, grind mode, nonstop. And it's just like, when is it that you actually take a breath and relax? When is it that you actually take your foot off the gas? Not necessarily be a bum and just sleep all day, but the level of tenacity, it's only but so much tenacity and so much hustle that you can do, output every consistently every year. Did take a couple trips, couple vacations, but even when I take a vacation, I'm not vacationing. I'm not sleeping late. You know what I mean? So I think this year, what's going to be different, and I'll probably make a separate video about this, but one this year, what's going to be different for me is just relax a little more, get into some more hobbies, make some new friends and start doing some different shit, like switching it up. Because when you grind, like my mom used to say this all the time, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I was like, my name ain't Jack, so I don't know who you talking about. But for me, I've realized that because I've been grinding so long, and I'll give you guys an example. Grinded super hard to purchase this house. As you guys know, 2020 was literally probably the hardest time to buy a house, because the market was crazy, so much competition. Bought the house, moved in December. Say we got the keys the 27th. The 28th, I was like, yeah, this is only the beginning. Wait till we get the next house, and I'm gonna start stacking again for the other one. And it's just like, take a breath, enjoy the moment, like celebrate the fact that you did what you said you were gonna do. And I never celebrate anything. I never give myself a pat on the back. This year, doing that. This year is different. I'm gonna enjoy the moment. I'm gonna relax a little bit, take some trips. You know what I mean? We gonna do things different this year, and I'm gonna share that with y'all as well. So if y'all not enjoying yourselves, if y'all not doing anything for fun, and you're like so caught up in this hustle culture, trust me, eventually there's gonna come a point where you're gonna look back and say, "Damn, I gotta slow down." And for me, 6, 7 years into it, slowing it down, slowing it down. Let's see, work full time, 40 hours, and resell part time, and also trying to build my own company. Hear my baby girl crying over there. She gonna be a singer because she got some. She could scream. So anyway, work full time, 40 hours, and resell part time, and also trying to build my own company so I can quit my job hopefully in 6 months. Yeah, man, you could do that. You could definitely do that. And the thing is, it's just a matter of, it's a decision. Everything that we do is a decision. You decide to say, I'm gonna quit my job. You're giving yourself 6 months. If you decide to do it in 3, you can do that. If you decide to do it in 1, you can do that. It's just a decision. And you can absolutely do it. You won't be the first, you won't be the last. Trust me. Yes, shalom, brother. So thankful to God by his son Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Yep, there's same thing. Yep, I failed, bro. I failed. What is it? No shame in quitting a job that you didn't like. It's like sales. You can't get a sale on every door. Yeah, that's it. You literally can't. And for me, like I said, yeah, I failed. I realized it just wasn't for me. But it also, when I think about it, you never really lose, you never really fail. For me, this was a hell of a lesson. And this kind of gave me that perspective that I needed, because it humbled me. It opened my eyes to realize, like, yo, what I got going on, the fact that I literally go sourcing. I don't go sourcing every single day like I used to. The thrift stores, they don't restock on Wednesdays and Sundays, so I don't do Wednesday and Sunday. And most of the time, a couple of days out the week, I might not go sourcing as either. Just don't source as much as I used to. But when I am sourcing, I'm probably out the house for 3 or 4 hours a day. I come home, I knock out my 10 or 15 listings in like 2 hours, and I'm done. That's typically my day. That's how my day has been since my daughter was born. That's how my days have been. Not sourcing every day, and my sales have still been solid. Now, I'm not crushing it like how I was before. I'm not killing it, but the month of November was really, really good. Month of December, I took some time. I was working that job, and that kind of slowed things up. So I took a little, I earned a little less money in December, but you know, still doing really well, especially considering the fact that I'm not grinding like I used to. I used to work 12, 14 hours, like nonstop, nonstop. And I'm not doing that no more. And I'm still doing decent for myself. I'm still comfortable. I'm still happy with the fact that the bills is paid, savings is good, everything is paid for, and we're just good. So that's something to just, be thankful for as well. You gotta appreciate the little things, because once those little things are gone, then the big problems, then you realize, like, where am I going with it? When those things that we take for granted are gone, that's when you start to really appreciate it, when it's too late. So for me, I'm like, I gotta appreciate everything while I still got it, while I can. You know what I mean? Let's see. Don't worry about the loan. Just keep it on time and enjoy your firstborn. You are executive material. You get what you settle for. Don't settle. Thank you very much. Executive material. I like that. Executive material. I had to pop my collar a little bit for that. I like that. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not stressing the loan as much as I was. I'm trying not to, because it doesn't make sense. Because the fact that I was able to get into this house with all of my student loans at that time, I didn't pay off any at that time, so it was still like $33,000, a little bit over 32,000, and we still got this one. And I knocked out almost 10,000 in 6 months. If I keep that pace, it'll definitely be paid off. But if it's paid off in 18 months, cool. 24 months, cool. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not necessarily slowing me down. And I realized that I kind of created that. I created a beast that I didn't need to create, because I would tell my friends, like, yeah, I'm paying my student loans off. And all of them was like, why? For what? Like, what's the plan? Like, why? And I'm just like, because I don't want no debt, and I'm trying to buy a new house. And they would just be like, oh, okay. But then when you realize, it's like, you don't necessarily need to pay off all of your student loans in order to purchase another home. You know what I mean? So that's just something I had to really put into perspective. Let's say they have to do something about paying people enough money to live, or how can they expect people to apply? That's a huge, huge thing. It's the wages. It's the wages that just doesn't make sense, because I've been so spoiled by earning money for myself, and earning so much money by selling things that other people don't want anymore. Like really think about it. I sell things that people are donating and throwing out, and I just do it in volume to the point where I can make enough money to, live. But the fact that this is what I do is insane. And it's like, it's so much money out there. It's so much abundance out there. But if you work a traditional 9 to 5, they act like if they can't afford to pay you, especially big colleges that have these huge endowments, especially these corporations that are bringing in millions of dollars in revenue. You know what I mean? It's a very selfish, very low frequency situation that people that work 9 to 5s have to deal with. But I mean, it is what it is. It's tough. It's tough, and it made me forget how tough it was out there for people. But that was definitely a good reminder. Blessings, family. What you quick on? That's my bad. What you quit on? That's not in your blood. Yeah, it's just not. At this point, I think I'm a really, really good entrepreneur, and working for someone else, unless it's a really good situation and it's something that I can benefit from, like learn from and feel like I'm contributing to like something bigger than myself, I'm not going to do it. And let's be real, when it comes to higher education, I think that's what it was as well. That particular position, I'm like, bro, I don't even believe in like college as much as I used to. As sad as it may sound, I used to be that person that said, yo, everybody should go to college. Everybody needs to go get a degree. But when you think about it, you rack up all these student loans and then you are forced to get a job that you can barely even that one that you can barely afford to live off of, but two that you can barely afford to pay off your student loans. Like it's not even designed for you to pay off your student loans. It's designed for the interest to just keep racking up and for you to never pay them off. So it's like once you realize the kind of, I guess you can say college is a scam because I've seen that headline all the time. Once you kind of realize that, you realize that it's not worth it. Now, if you're an athlete or if you're gifted and you don't have to take out any student loans, or if your parents set you up where you don't need to pay for school, by all means, take advantage. Enjoy the experience because that was the best experience of my life. But the payment for college, it's a scam. It's a scam. That's how I see it. So I had to get out. Once I got back in and I realized like, yo, why am I here? Like, what am I doing? I don't even believe in this. Like this ain't even for me. Had to go. Had to go. When you told them I quit, what did they say? So I basically, like I told you, I was on Zoom for that whole I was supposed to be on Zoom for the next 2 weeks. I lasted a week. In total, I lasted 2 weeks and 2 days. In terms of being on Zoom, I lasted a week and 2 days. So the first time I even had a conversation on the side with the trainer, the very first like the second week, I was like, yo, this is very people in the training are very distracting. I mainly was saying like, yo, they talk too much and they talk about things that have nothing to do with the job, and I'm not here for that. I explained that to her and she was like, she gets it. She's gonna work on it. She's gonna try to like, you know, put a better handle on the room and try to like work the room a little better, like maintain the conversations, contain the conversations. And she understood everything was cool. So the next time when I asked her to like kind of do a little breakout session for me, so me and her could just talk one on one, she probably thought that's what I wanted again, like just like to recap that or like mention it again. I was like, yeah, so today's gonna be my last day, and nothing against you, but this just not working for me. And of course she was taken aback a little bit. She was so sweet. She was just like, oh, is everything okay? I just want to make sure everything is cool with you. I'm like, yeah, everything is great. I just don't want to waste your time or mine. And after a lot of thinking, I just realized it just isn't for me. And I was gonna give her like, the PC answer and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, da, 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 but I was just like, yo, this not working. And she was cool. And the very next day, no one really tried to like, excuse me, I was still in training, so it's not like anyone tried to like convince me to stay or anything like that. What I think, honestly, I think the job does experience a very high turnover. Like a lot of people probably come in and a lot of people leave. So I'm pretty sure they're used to people leaving, probably just not used to people leaving as fast as I did. So it was cool. I don't know what other conversations they had on the side, but I just had to let her know it wasn't for me, and that's really what it was. It just wasn't for me. Let's see. Do you have a niche when you source? Yeah, electronics. Used electronics is for me. Do a little bit of clothing, but used electronics is for me. Let's see. What job was this recent? I missed something. Okay, yeah. So I took a full-time job working as a university counselor, and it was remote. And so I figured I would be able to still do eBay on the side, still, spend time with my daughter, still be at home, so we can like, it's just me and my wife. So I was like, I'll still be able to be at home and tag team everything. But the job was just so intense and so, um, hands on. Even though it was remote, it was still so hands on that I was like, this isn't gonna work. This isn't, and the job only paid $43,000 a year. So my first check was very, very small. It wasn't enough for me to even say I would decided, okay, I'm not reselling anymore, I'm only gonna work this job, I would literally be putting myself back and literally be struggling because there would be no way I'd ever be able to live the way I'm living now on $43,000 a year. So had to dip out. Let's see what camera you using. Joint is crispy clear. Yeah, so this is my actual camera that I shoot videos with. This is the Sony A7 III, and then I picked up this little capture card on Amazon, and it basically lets you use your physical camera as a webcam. And I had one of these in the past. It was these same little capture cards, and I paid like $150 for the one I had before, and it lasted like 7, 8 months, and it broke, and I ended up selling it the other day on eBay for like $30 for parts. And then this one that I picked up on Amazon, um, it's no brand or anything like that. It's literally was like 18.99. It's metal, and it's crispy. As you said, it works just fine. So I think the biggest thing is lighting, because I did a live last week and I forgot to turn this light on, and it wasn't as crispy as it is now. So I switched my mic and I put this over here because the last week I started my show and I had the mic here and I forgot to bring it to my face, so I started off all bad. But like I said, I'm gonna try to make sure I do these lives more often. Just kind of, kind of like sit down, chop it up. Whether it's a story I'm gonna come to you guys with, I might share some interesting news articles, like a podcast style type of thing. I'm gonna interview some people that I rock with, just so that you guys can gain some perspective and some knowledge from them. Other entrepreneurs that's in reselling, but people that have nothing to do with reselling, so we can kind of share ideas that way. Hopefully inspire me and give me some other direction and stuff as well. And just like I said, the biggest thing that I'm trying to do moving forward is to not be so closed off in the sense of what I share on YouTube. I'm still not going to be sharing my family and stuff like that. Like, it's over for that. But just share other sides of me, because I felt like for a long time it was very just eBay, Poshmark, reselling. But I'm trying to get into other hobbies, other interests, other stuff like that, and I'm gonna just start to share it with you guys here on the channel. And I was thinking maybe I should start a new channel, but the name of the channel is Akil McLeod, so it's me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just rock out like that. Let's see, Akil, I wonder why you don't do estate/garage sales. I see Commonwealth Picker killing it, doing that, and paying less than Goodwill prices. And I feel like you have similar knowledge. Yeah, honestly, that is something I'm probably slacking on and like missing a big opportunity on. For me, why I don't go to garage sales is that every time I do, I never come up big on them. And yeah, the prices may be less, but some garage sales you go to, people are trying to sell stuff super expensive. So sometimes when I go, the last few garage sales I went to, people were selling like video games for PlayStation 2, $10 a game. Some were like $8 a game. And I'm just like, I pay 99 cents at Goodwill for games. It might be an old camera that probably doesn't even work. They're asking $20 for that. And then when I go to Goodwill, that same camera that they donate because nobody wanted to buy it, that same camera is $5. So I think every state is different when it comes to the garage sale stuff. Um, I think garage sales right now is probably the best season now. It's probably for garage sales, because since I'm in Arizona, it's super hot, and people are not trying to have garage sales in the middle of the summer. But I've tried it. I've tried it several times, and it just does not work for me. I did get some come ups when I lived in California. I found some really good stuff, so I'm not like completely against it. But at this point, as of right now, every time I go to a garage sale, it's a flop, and I regret just not going straight to the Goodwill, because that's where the garage sale stuff ends up anyway. So that's just my experience with the garage sale stuff so far. Let's see. Earning $30,000 a year is a great amount coming out of high school. Many of us, so called Blacks and Latinos, come from households pushing the males out early, having no financial knowledge. I mean, I don't know if I could agree with that, my brother. $30,000 a year is a great amount coming out of high school. I mean, maybe if you're still living at home, But $30,000 a year, and you trying to live on your own, it's almost impossible unless you live in somewhere where rent is like $400. Or if you got, a couple roommates where your rent is only $400. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Do you get tired of reselling? Is that why you were trying a regular job? Yeah. I mean, not necessarily tired of reselling. I think I just was needed something fresh, need something new. And that's why I was looking into it. But the big thing why I was looking into it was that I wanted to do something that would help me pay off my student loans faster. And I figured if I'm reselling and I'm working a job, that'll give me, the income to kind of just knock it out even faster. Because even though I knew the job was only paying $43,000 a year, I figured, okay, they're paying 43. At the time I had like 24,000 left on my loans. So I was like, I should still be able to knock out my student loans in a decent amount of time and literally put that entire check straight towards my student loans. Like that was the game plan. But like I said, factoring time, factoring in, you know, it was really intensive and hands-on. It wouldn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Do you plan on looking for another job or you good? Yeah, I mean, unless another job finds me, unless something finds me, probably not. I think what I'm gonna do is really just put way more energy into the wine business. My wife and I started a wine business um we launched in August. So it's one of those things that it's more of like a legacy play. I tell people that it's essentially that. I know I'm, a reseller and I have a business already and it's established and it's doing well. But the way how I source now, I'm grinding. I'm going to different stores and I'm picking stuff up every day. I, we wanted to start a business that my daughter can either, she can inherit and she can run it, or she can inherit it and she can sell it. Just give her some options. Because when I was 18, my only real option was go to college. But this day and age, these kids that's coming up now, I think the best thing for them is just going to be options. If they want to go to school, cool, we're going to be able to put some money aside and have that as an option for her as well. But at the end of the day, a business will give her, all the options. She can run the business and be in school. She can be in school and learn something that can benefit the business. So that's really what it was. I was more so kind of putting it on the back burner and like slowly but surely putting in effort. But I think what's going to help me is to really just put more energy and effort into it. So I'll probably talk about it more on the channel, kind of, share some insight on that side of the business so that you guys can kind of learn a little bit about that, because building a brand from scratch is completely different from reselling. The beauty of reselling is that you're selling items that people are familiar with, people already know, and they're searching for that particular item. So all you got to do is price it right and ship it out. But with your own brand, whatever it is, clothing, wine, liquor, whatever it is, you kind of have to share your story, and you have to, they have to taste it, they have to be familiar with it. So you kind of have to brand it in a way that's, you know, unique and interesting to them. So I got to spend more time on that side so that when she is 18 and she wants to take it over, or if she wants to take it over for that matter, she actually has a thriving business and not, a headache to deal with. Let's see. Facebook marketplace is pretty good too. Yeah, Facebook marketplace is really good. Facebook marketplace is a good site for selling furniture. I know a lot of people do that. I was actually doing a decent amount of furniture last year as well. Furniture, I was killing it with the furniture because I would find office chairs. And some office chairs, especially like the fancy ergonomic ones, those are super expensive. So I was picking up these chairs, throwing it in the back of my car, and buying them for 10, $15, and sometimes selling them for 100, 120. um all types of crazy chairs I was finding. So Facebook Marketplace is a really good site for the local deals, the local flips. And of course, you don't have to worry about shipping out anything, and you don't have to worry about fees. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace, offer up. That's where it's at. But yeah, so that's been my experience so far working that job for all of 2 weeks and 2 days. Gave me some good perspective. It humbled me, gave me a greater appreciation for what it is that I'm doing. And in real time, that's how I'm feeling now. But I think when my daughter gets older and, it's, we have my wife and I can kind of like start doing other things, I might switch it up, but as of right now, I think reselling is exactly what I need because it's given me that freedom to kind of source, in pockets. If I don't want to source that day, I don't have to leave the house. It gives me that freedom to still be a super hands-on dad and just kind of do what I got to do. And when she gets older and when she starts school and all those types of stuff, then I might switch it up and do something else. But for now, I think I wouldn't have thought this way if I didn't take that job, because prior to that I was like, oh, I'm kind of over reselling, I think I want to do something else. But now I'm like, thank God for reselling, because if I wasn't doing this, I probably would be doing something that I really did hate, or something that was like really taxing on my body and on my mind. And the good thing is reselling is not taxing to me. You know what I mean? I'm not selling heavy types of stuff, so I'm not like physically drained. So it's a very good thing for me right now. Excuse me. So if you guys got any questions, drop that in the chat. I'm gonna probably stick around for a few more minutes, but I just wanted to come in and share that story with you guys. I know a lot of times I have good ideas of a video, and I'm like, I should probably go live with this video instead of like recording it and editing it and doing all those things. And that's why I'm glad I've been able to figure out how I can get a good quality stream going so that I'm not like sacrificing my quality. But when I get ideas, or if I just want to talk about a topic and just chop it up with you guys, I'm gonna just turn the camera on. It's most likely always going to be business related and somehow entrepreneur related and stuff like that, because that's primarily what this channel is about. I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, I just went fishing and let's talk about it. Like, I'm probably not going to do that. But when I get ideas now, I'm gonna just turn the camera on and you know, just jump into it. What do you about the high turnovers of people leaving their jobs? I'm guessing you're probably saying, what do I think about it? Um, I think people are just, especially after the pandemic, I think people are just waking up. I think people are just realizing that, time is the only real luxury. And whatever it is that they're doing, most people aren't quitting their job just so that they can become an entrepreneur. A lot of people are quitting their job so that they can find something that's more fulfilling to them, something that pays them a little more so that they can do more for their family. And I think people are just, and not to mention, so much people are just, getting so much free money now that they're like, why should I work if I'm getting, $800 a week, $600 a week, and I'm not doing nothing? Like, why would they work? You know what I mean? So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But it's just one of those interesting things. It's an interesting time that we're living in now, where people can literally pick up a camera and start making money. And I think with that just provides so much other opportunities. And of course, outside of just like content creation and social media and stuff like that, people are just realizing like, yo, I can make money doing something else. And they're just doing something else. Any tips when sales are low? I also resell, but I feel like the market is near dry. Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong. It just depends on what you're selling. But the market, every market is different. And if the market is dry for you, you need to look at what it is that you're selling and how you're marketing your products, right? So like I was saying earlier, even though the good thing about reselling is that you don't have to necessarily market items and like create a buzz around a brand, you still have to take really good photos. You still have to describe it properly. You still have to price it properly. You still have to ship it out on time. You still have to make a good title that stands out in terms of like search engine optimization. Like, there's still things that you have to do the right way in order to be successful. So you might be selling stuff that's not as popular, so it might seem a little slow, or the quality of the stuff that you're selling might not be as desirable. You know what I mean? So just a bunch of different things to look into when anytime you feel like the market is dry, because it's not. If anything, the market is on fire. Like, people are shopping more than ever because of so much, because the surplus of funds that people are getting. I know they said this Q4 was huge in terms of online shopping and stuff like that. So um, Q1 as a whole is traditionally slower in terms of sales because most people are like recovering from spending so much during the holidays. So if it's kind of dry for you in like the next 2-3 weeks, don't stress too much because the sales do tend to slow down in January and February, but it picks right back up as soon as people start getting their tax returns. It picks right back up. But you just got to sell stuff that people want. Any advice on growing a reselling YouTube channel? Um, for any YouTube channel, I think you got to be consistent. You know what I mean? And that's something I know. I got shirts that literally say consistency on it. And that's something I haven't been doing for more reasons than one. New dad, don't really got the time or like the energy to put into YouTube as I once was. But whether it's reselling, whether you DIY, whether it's car stuff, you got to be consistent. And consistent doesn't mean every day. Consistent doesn't mean 3 times a week. Consistent just means you show up when you say you're going to show up and your viewers know when you're showing up. So you could be super consistent once a week. But also keep in mind the big thing, most people say everybody wants like a super high-end camera. This camera is super high end. This is expensive. My lens is is just as expensive as the camera. But the most important thing with YouTube is the audio. Like people need to be able to hear you clearly and like not fuzzy and like, just terrible audio. So if you invest in anything, if you want to, invest in anything, use your phone to record, but like invest in like a good microphone or invest in like good audio equipment because that's probably more important than the visual. Let's see. Answered that one already. I feel like consumer confidence isn't there buying pre-owned items, maybe due to pandemic safety concerns. Um, I mean that's possible. If you're maybe like pre-owned clothing, I know pre-owned clothes was not really hitting like that for me when I was doing a lot of pre-owned clothes in the fourth quarter. Because in the fourth quarter, people are buying Christmas gifts and like stuff like that. So used clothes and used shoes, holiday season is kind of tough. But I'm selling used electronics and it's moving. So I can't really relate in that aspect. But I mean, the thing is with pre-owned clothes as a whole is just getting cheaper and cheaper. So it's tough. Unless you got brands that people really want, selling clothes is tough. That's kind of why I moved away from it. Because when I was in California, I was able to get a really good brands. And even though it was used, it was brands that people really wanted. So I could still make some good money. Moving in Arizona, the fashion, the style isn't really like that. Is nothing compared to when it was like in California. So I had to make a pivot, So you might have to make a pivot too. You might have to kind of figure it out and see, what works best for you. A great tip to slow down is to list more, relist old inventory and improve titles, better keywords, pictures. The more items you list, the more you sell. Absolutely. Great tip. Great tip, Mojo Radio. Even if you don't immediately get sales, you build a habit that helps when sales come back strong. Absolutely. That's real good. Real good. There are a lot of people with a lot of money and they're buying. Yeah, and that's the thing. People are buying stuff right now. Like, and this is and the crazy thing is that you have to list. You have to put in the reps. And I've realized that, like for me, I go through these different trends, if you will, where I'm listing nonstop. I might list 20 items a day and I might keep that trend going for like 4 months, 5 months. And out of those 20 things that I list, some of them might be super cheap, but it's just like I'm just trying to get listings up because I list 10 things that's only worth $10. But then, my more expensive items, for some reason, they sell that same day that I listed a bunch of cheap stuff. And, as months go by, and if those cheap stuff isn't selling, I might take it down completely and like donate it again. But it's the constant feeding the algorithm, the constant listing that kind of helps you boost sales. That's at least what I realized. I realized that you kind of just got to keep shooting, because I remember for a long time I was buying video games. I'd spend $1 on it, sell it for 10, and I'm making $5 after fees and shipping, right? $4 or $5, whatever it is. But doing that helped me move some of my more expensive items. But now that I don't have that much time, anything I list now, it has to sell at least $15, bring in at least $15 in profit, at least. Before, I didn't always have that mentality, but for me now, I'm starting to switch it up, and that's what I'm on now. Microphone arm. This is just a little cheap one. This is a little cheap one I had picked up from Amazon. I think it's like $20. This a The thing is, this microphone arm, the boom arm, that is, I guess you call it a boom arm. This doesn't do the mic justice, because this mic is a Shure mic. It's a nice USB condenser mic. The mic was like 250, but the arm is like $20. So I might upgrade this one just so I can, have a better setup. But it does the trick. And I'm one of those people that if it ain't broke, don't. So it's a one though. Yeah, I think that's questions I got today. Did about an hour on here today, so this was really good. I'm about to go grab something to eat. So shout out to everybody that was tuning in for the live show. I definitely appreciate it, because I wasn't sure if people was gonna be interested in the story time thing, but I had a few people in here, so I appreciate it. If you guys got any other questions, drop it in the comment section. Before you guys head out, make sure you guys hit that like button. It definitely will help me out, and especially with the algorithm, and kind of just bring some more people back to the channel, because like I said, I'm not as consistent as I need to be, as I should be. So hit the like button for me. I definitely appreciate it. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. And don't forget, Happy New Year. Peace.